Hi, my name is Seraphel, and I like to give my dolls new faces inspired by things that I like. Today I'm going to give a new face to this fear book Draculaura inspired by magical girls. I've always been incredibly fond of magical girls, one of my first ever animes being Shigokara, and my favorites of all time being Madoka Magica and Revolutionary Girl Utena. So one day I started thinking, wouldn't it be cute to turn the Monster High ghouls into magical ghouls? It started off with my Abby, which was honestly a one-off thing until I decided to revisit the concept. Thus, Frankie and Cleo were created. So the question now is, who's next ghoul? Birds of a feather flock together, so it would only make sense that one of my dearest friends is also a big fan of the magical girl genre, with their favorite anime being Cardcaptor Sakura. The holidays are coming up, and this friend has been so supportive of my journey learning how to do custom face-ups. I thought it would be nice to create them their own version of their favorite Monster High ghoul, Draculaura. I'm going to start prepping Draculaura by covering her body and then masking her hair off with a paper towel and some push pins. Draculaura's bangs and widow's peak used to give me a lot of trouble masking off, but I found a method that can work for me. If she has bangs, I can pull them back using a cheap hair elastic. Then I can mask off her hair with the paper towel, ignoring her widow's peak altogether. Now I can go in with some washi tape and a pen knife to get the perfect mask. Her face then comes off with some 100% acetone, lint-free wipes, and Q-tips. Now that the face is off, you should wash your doll with some soapy water. I know I'm not doing it here, but please do as I say and not as I do in this situation. When her face has been fully dried off, she gets 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear. Now that she's fully prepped, I can start sketching her face using a watercolor pencil close to her skin tone. Because I'm right-handed, the left side of any face-up tends to come really easily to me. I do a lot of adjusting and erasing on the right side of the face, but with enough fighting, I'll manage to get to a point where I think the face is symmetrical enough. With her sketch done, I can now go into line and color. I prefer using a dark brown over black, so I still have a chance to make any last-minute major adjustments. Out of all the ghouls, Draculaura's eyes are some of my favorites to color because I love giving her a purple-pink gradient. To be honest, I don't know what I was doing with the yellow, but I'll tone it down with layers of pink after the upcoming layers of MSC. I'll use a white pencil to emphasize her under eyes and to indicate where I'll add glitters later on her eyelids. With the foundation of color for her eyes down, I can now go into adding pastels. Most of my face-ups are inspired by the super beautiful makeup girlies on Douyin and Xiaohongshu. Sometimes I'll make a specifically inspired look, but most of the time I pull from a bunch of different looks I find to make something that I feel fits the vibe I'm going for. Today, Draculaura will be getting a pinky kind of maraschino cherry red look. I lay down a nudie pink for her base lip and then focus a bright cherry red into her lip crease to create a lip gradient. I then use the same red along her outer lash lines, both upper and lower. Because the eyes and the lips are so punchy, she'll also get a light dusting of cool tone pink as her blush. That's basically the foundation of her entire face up, so from here on out it's adding a layer of MSC, waiting 30 minutes, and building on the colors until they reach my desired opacity. At this point, I've also switched over to a black colored pencil, specifically on her upper and lower lash lines and her eyebrows. When I draw eyebrows, I like to add individual hairs in the front. I then go in with a kneaded eraser to clean up my lines, and sometimes I'll have to go in with a hard eraser if the lines aren't budging. I forgot to clean off my eraser since I last used it, and it left a gray mark on her face. This isn't something that I can overlook, especially considering this is a gift for someone else, so I went in with my pointed Q-tip soaked in alcohol to lift the color off. You have to be super careful here, as the alcohol will lift your layers of MSC. Use a super light hand and immediately wipe off any alcohol with the other end of the Q-tip, which should be soaked in water. Be really careful not to touch anywhere else on the face because you don't want to lift the watercolor pencil. I like to line the lip crease if the lip color is light, and I want to emphasize G3's Spily lip mold. It is not a Chinese makeup look if there is no nose contouring, so I go in with a cool tone pink to contour her nose, just like the Douyin and Xiaohongshu girlies have taught me. It took 3 layers of color for me to be fully satisfied with the opacity, so now it's time to go in with white acrylic and add in Draculaura's catch lights. I also draw on her birthmark. To fit with all my other customs, her heart-shaped birthmark is now a sparkle. With a wet brush, I add a little bit of pearlescent pigment to her under eyes, her eyelids, and her birthmark. She also gets a dusting of pearlescent pigment across her cheeks and forehead. At this point, I realized I forgot her fangs, so I do a quick sketch before I commit with some white acrylic. She gets 2 final sprays of MSC to seal the face up in. Once the last layer of MSC has dried, I can go in and gloss her lips. MSC eats the shine on the pearlescent powder, so what I like to do is go in with the glossy varnish on her under eyes and eyelid, but you want to immediately wipe the edges with a pointed Q-tip so that the shine can blend seamlessly into the rest of the matte face. I also gloss her birthmark just so the pearly sparkle can come through. The varnish takes 3 hours to dry, so I'll add more gloss to her lips then. Here's the final look for my magical girl inspired face up on Draculaura. Unfortunately, I'm not a seamstress, so she won't be getting a super cute outfit to fight evil with, but with her Fearbook outfit, I guess you can say this is like her being off duty attending school with the rest of her friends. Thank you so much for watching. I hope my friend likes this doll, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave any questions, comments, or critiques for me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!